Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Tahir, this is Inspired RC, and in today's video we're going to be looking at part 2 of the servo saver fix, where we're going to be removing the servo saver. So guys, let's get on with it. Guys, this mod is worth doing if you are thinking of bashing your Xmaxx. I have seen a lot of stories online where people have been bashing their Xmaxxes, and the servo itself, the steering servo itself, has failed, and a lot of people are saying that the saver as well causes some issues in the steering. So I want to hopefully by packing the saver out today, eliminate that from any issues in my steering. So yeah guys, what I'll do is I'll just get this car set up in a better way so I can get the camera on there, and we'll start getting it stripped out. So as in my previous steering video, I did show you how to remove this cover, this grey cover that's protecting the steering system. So just as a recap, you've got 5 screws on this that you need to remove. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's one hiding just in here, 5. So I'll get them removed and I'll get this cover taken out. Once I've done that, then I'll show you what other screws that you need to remove from this car. Okay, so I've removed them 5 screws, and now it's time to remove the cover. This cover can be a bit tricky to remove. It will be a bit tight where it's actually sat on top of the servo saver. It's actually holding this piece of plastic is holding the servo saver in its place as well. So you might need to persuade it to come out. So once you've got it loose, just work it out. There you go. And you can see on mine, the bearing that sits in the servo saver is actually sat on this plastic. Sometimes it might not do that, it might stay in the servo saver itself. So guys, get that out of the way. Next job now is to remove some more screws from this steering system. So the next screw that you need to remove, just here, I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can get some more light on there. Get my camera a bit closer to you. And I'm just going to quickly show you. There we go. So we need to remove this screw here, and then on both wheels we need to remove this screw here. So to get access to this screw, turn the wheel one way so the steering system comes out, and then you can get access to it to remove it, and then do the same on the opposite side. So there's 3 more screws to remove, I think, and then we should be okay. So guys, I'm going to get that done, and I should be back with you shortly. Guys, I just want to add something that I didn't see before. So to remove the screws that's holding the steering linkage there, that screw there, you actually have 2 pre-made holes in the chassis. So I'll just quickly show you. Just one there, then one on the opposite side there. So what you got to do is you got to line up your wheels, and then you're able to put your Allen keys straight through and remove that screw. So guys, I'm just going to get that done as well. So I'll be back with you. So I've removed these 3 screws, guys. So I'm just going to quickly show you the 3 screws that have come out. So these are the 3 screws that have come out. So these 2 longer screws have come out, the steering links on both wheels, and then the smaller screws come out from, just quickly show you, from there. Oh, my hand's in the way. Just under here. So it's the steering link to the servo. Put them somewhere safe, guys. You don't want to be losing them. Make sure you make a mental note of where they're going to go back. Right, so with them screws out, it should now just be a case of lifting the steering system out, and it'll be one piece with the post and the saver comes out together. So it just should just be a case of just lifting it out. And guys, be careful you don't lose any bearings or anything that are left in the system. Out there, like that. And just work it out. Right guys, that's your servo saver steering setup. Right, now we don't need the car anymore, so I'll get the car off the bench and we'll look at this saver and see what we can do to it. Okay guys, so first thing you want to do once you've got this out of your car is you want to check it for any kind of cracks. Now we're looking for small hairline cracks and things like that, so it might be an idea just to give it a quick clean down. I think mine's still looking okay. I've not seen anything. So you got a couple of bearings in the bottom there. This is the top of yours, and you can see there, you can see the nut. Sorry, the screw that's going through the center of the servo saver, and then if you flip it over, you can see the other end of the nut coming out there. Now you've got this cavity here, so once you've taken this bearing out, which we'll just do, there we go. Good idea just to check the bearings as well at this stage, guys. Make sure everything's spinning nicely for you. And as I said, I've looked over it and it looks okay to me, but we're still going to be tightening this, I think. Right, so next job is to remove the screw that's in the center of this servo saver. Just see. It's not that long. Right, so with the screw out, take the top off, inspect it, just make sure you're happy with it. That's the top. There's one screw. This is your spring. And this is the rest of it here. So guys, it could do with a good clean out anyway, so I'll be doing that anyway with it. So the next bit, this bit here will just slide off, I think. Yeah. Okay guys, I haven't seen any cracks or anything. Okay, so the next job now is to put some kind of packer the same size as this, so we can make this spring a bit tighter when we screw it down. So guys, I'm just gonna see what I've got to hand and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay guys, this is what I've come up with. You can see in there I've just made another ring and I've pushed it into the gap that's already there for us. So what I've used is just a straight bar that's solid throughout, and I chose this because it's actually very close to the actual thickness of the spring itself, and what I wanted to do is just add another coil onto the spring. So what I did was it was just a straight bar, and I wrapped it around my driver, and then I've cut off the excess. Now you can see there I've left a gap in between there. A couple of reasons. One is it still allows me to squeeze this a bit more if I needed to, just to get it pushed into this gap. Secondly is, if I did want to remove it in the future, I can just put something underneath here and prise it up, and it'll come out hopefully, and then you can just revert back to your stock servo setup just with this coil. So with regards to the nut and bolt, what I'm thinking of doing is going for the original one first and seeing, because I didn't have any issues with that. So I'm going to try and see if I can get that back in. If I can't, then we will go for a longer nut and bolt, and the nut that's going to go onto it is going to be a nylock nut, which I did have somewhere, something like that there. If I do end up going for a longer screw on there. So just the same way as we dismantled it, that piece is in there first, this goes next, this part goes next. Now there is a shape to this, so you got to make sure that this shape lines up with what's already in there. That goes on next, then the screw. You're probably going to need to give this a bit of tension. Probably going to have to give it a squeeze just to get the screw going. Once the screw is going, then the action of threading the screw in should tighten everything up for you. So guys, I'm going to get that done, and hopefully I'll be back with you shortly. Okay guys, we've got the original screw back in there, if you can see there, and we've tightened it down. Now I expect that this spring is going to be a lot tighter now, and I'm hoping, if I try it, I can't move it. No, it's not moving. So with there being just the original screw in there, we can loosen it off if it is giving us any kind of problems. So yeah, put the bearing back in, just a case of pushing it back in. Everything's right. We'll get this back installed into the car and screw it all back down again. So guys, remember the screws that came out originally, they need to all go back into the right places. Once that's done, I'll get some batteries into the car and we'll give it a quick test and see if that's helped or not. Okay guys, I've managed to put everything back together again. So we've got the saver back in, just quickly show you, and then we've got the grey cover back over the top. The only place where I found it a bit tricky is putting these screws in for the steering linkages. So let's get my pointer. Use this one here. So that screw there, and the same on the opposite, on the other wheel as well, guys. This screw, the way you want to be putting this screw in is turn the wheel all the way across so you've got clearance around it. Put the screw in by hand and just start the screw off with your fingers. Make sure the thread gets started. Once it's started, do the same on the opposite side. So turn the wheel, the opposite lock, and you've got access to that screw now. Push it in with your fingers, tighten it with your, just start it off with your fingers. Once you've got it started off, where these two screws are now, once these have been taken out, there's two holes there that you can actually fit a driver straight through and able to tighten up these screws. So guys, that was the trickiest part that I found, putting it back together again. Other than that, it was quite straightforward. So I'm going to get some batteries into it and we'll give it a test. Okay, the batteries are in, the remote's turned on. Let's turn the car on. Let's try it out. Guys, that servo now is a lot tighter than what it was. So the proof is going to be when we take it out for a test run again and see how that servo saver copes with the bush. As I said, all I've done is put some packer into there. If you're finding it might be straining the servo, the steering servo a bit too much, then by all means all you have to do is just take it out, put something less in there. Until you try it, you're not going to know what settings you want it to be at. So whether you want it tight or whether you want it slightly loose. So guys, I'm happy with all of that. Let's get the body back on it. And let's get it for another bash. Guys, so if you found this video helpful, useful, please like, subscribe and share, and hopefully I shall see you in the next video where we're taking this out for a bash and see how it survives with the tightened servo saver. So guys, been a pleasure yet again. Until the next time, see ya.